All right, today we're going to do cabling. Sure. So let me go through and show y'all on that, and y'all can work on doing it. All right, so let's go through the tools first. When y'all cut the cable out of the box, and don't cut it too close to you, you know, the box, it doesn't slide back in there. You're going to use regular wire cutters to cut that. They will not work when you go to cut the little wires because they're not closely aligned and sharp enough for that. They'll just bend the little wires. But when you cut the big cable, use this, not the scissors that we're going to use to together. That's regular wire cutters. We're going to use a crimper to fasten the end onto the cable permanently. It's going to force those pieces of metal on the plugs. If you run your hand across it before we crank it, you'll see the little pieces of metal, stick out. So it forces those little pieces of metal back up into the wires. And so we're going to use this to crank them. Actually, I got two sets of these. I've really got three sets of them. I got plenty. I've got these, which are the schools one. There's another one over there. These are made as all-in-one kits. So there is a razor blade in there right above my thumb. Where you can actually do the stripping the wire. I'm going to show you another way to do it in just a minute. With that right there, there was a razor blade right here, but there was no protection on it. And it was used to actually cut the little wires. So we don't ever use it for that part because we have some tool to do that. I had to take the other razor blade off because there was no protection around it. They cut their hands off. Normally there should be around it, but they didn't. The other one I've got here is this crimper. It's just got a pistol grip to it instead of that one. And it just crimps. So the plug goes in up here, so it's in right there. And then you can squeeze it. It does the job. That's a personal one. These run somewhere $25 to $35 a piece. I'm not sure what the price of this one is. Cisco and Do It gave it to me a number of years ago for something I did with Cisco. Either it was at a conference that they gave it to me at, or that I filled out some paperwork, etc. for them, and I got this in the mail from them. So I don't know what price these run. I know the price I paid for it was free, and they work good. I had my own pair of these that I've used sometimes, and these will actually work on RJ11 plugs also, which is what smaller plugs are there. But we've worn out one here after almost 20 years. All right, pair of scissors here. These are actually a little bit better ones, I think. Than my other pair is out in the car. The blades are sharp and well aligned, so they will cut the little wires, but don't cut the cable with them, or you'll mess the blades up and they won't work right for us. Generally, I'm getting these from Dollar Tree now, so I usually just go get dollar scissors. They last about 6 months usually for me, and then break or something else. I do have a Dollar Tree pair out there in the car. I think these are a little bit better ones with the name sitting there on them. I think the school I bought, and they're still working good right now, but even the more expensive ones, so it's maybe $5 or $10 a pair for scissors. They don't last for long. So I just get them from Dollar Tree. And I can swing by there and buy new pairs. This is one stripper beside the cable end, and all you're wanting to do is notch the cable. I've got another stripper out there that clamps on, and then you just squeeze it open, set the wire in there, and it's got a razor blade in it. This one does too. You can actually see it's a razor blade here. That's what it's. and they're also, they don't make any blades. And that, then when you let go of it, it's a power one on it, positive force, like tweezers, normal tweezers would hang that, but there's positive tweezers too that open them up to put on something and then they stay there. That does too. And you don't squeeze it tighter, you just let it spin it 3 or 4 times. Same thing here. I don't want to spin this one like 1 time around. You only want to notch the cable. So, bring those in, but I don't have the others. So here's the pair of dollars. Actually, that pair is a little bit old. So now let's go through and see the process of actually making a cable. When y'all go to make it, I cut off a piece that long or so. You cut it shorter, but I've had at least several students over the years, a number of them, that by the time they kept cutting off, they made it a little bit shorter to start with, and then when they keep replacing plugs, you have to pull it off, put it on wrong, and once you do trim it, and they ended up with a piece that was about that long. Okay. The other part is you make it a little bit longer right here. One is it's actually usable at some side of the patch cable, because I mentioned on each one of them. Or the other one is that it's a little bit more where you can show what you get. So it's just a little short little piece of wire. So I'll cut it. There is a pull string inside there. If it's, you can take the scissors and cut that string. You can cut the string out of your way or whatever. Trash can. And then we got a piece of wire. So now I'm going to take the stripper, which is the newer ones stuff. Other ones are like those. This one will. So then I'm just going to slide it in. And it looks like it just goes to the first place. Let's see if it notches really. So you just go to the first place when you get here, and I'll cut a notch. You don't want to cut through the cake, the sheet. You just want to notch it. And if you've ever cut glass, it's the same approach you use to cut glass. If you cut glass, you don't cut all the way through the glass. You just run a notch across it. Then it breaks right up on. Okay, I do same glass, so I used to tend to do it again, but I haven't had a chance in a while. That you do, I learned to do that on there. I didn't know you didn't cut glass so much during that class. So then if you just bend it, if you did notch it, it will break on you there. Pull that off. Let me see if this camera's aimed right. Probably not, because I'm not seeing all the mark. Sheet piece, definitely put it in the trash can. Try to get some of the other stuff in the trash can, but they can back it up. Okay. The string, it can stay there. You can take it out. Actually, this short little piece, it wants to pull on out. But if it gets in the way, just figure it out. Now, actually, usually I make these a little bit longer. Probably that little shorter. So now the next thing I would do is proceed to separate them out by color. For the straight through cable, we're going to use 568A. And that's the colors on that one. 5 out of the 6 ends, I just told you wrong, but B, that's what we're going to use. 5 out of the 6 ends for the 3 cables are going to be using that. Okay. When it comes to the final, you'll get it on the board again for you. So don't worry. So I would go ahead and separate all the wires. and go ahead and make a sort of a peacock type thing to it. You can sort of pull on them, straighten them some. I'd go ahead and put the brown pair and the orange pair on the outsides. You notice the green and the blue mix up there, so you can't get them into that position while they're still there. This one doesn't have a whole lot of wrap to the cable. Surprising for Tech 5B. But lots I was working with on the other cables. This one's in my office over there. This Tech 5B cable also. Tech 5B usually has more twists. It doesn't make any difference which order you actually take them apart in. I would go ahead and create over to where they're making a peacock right here. I go ahead and put them in position. Or you can position them to get through. However, I will warn you, some cable, you don't color the whites real well. So on some cable, you got to make sure you know which white is which white. So keeping this other one or exactly where it belongs. This one's got a lot of color on the white, so that shouldn't be a problem on this one. Sometimes you got to do some maneuvering around to get them to lie like you want them to lie. The blue here is always one that gets in the way. This one that doesn't want to. So get yourself a peacock. And so you can notice I got white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, green, white, brown, brown. Just what I got up there on the board. Okay? Now, I would suggest putting it in your hand, put it right there at the edge of your finger, where when you put your thumb down on it, I'm just barely asking you, not holding it way out here, I'm holding it right at the between my finger and my thumb. Hold on to it from there on until we put the plug on. Okay? Which that's going to keep your wires from jumping places on you. So now take the wires and start moving them together. And you sort of pull them as you do that too. And pull hard as you do it. And wiggle them some. Pull. And it will gradually change into a ribbon cable. You want it to come out straight out of your fingers. And the blue wire has jumped down. When I let go there, wires will jump around. And I'll put them back together. And you may have to hold it a little further up than where I had started. Don't really want to, this one just doesn't work. So you may have to hold it a little further than I had said. So get it in there. Notice you now got a ribbon cable. All I did to do that was pull along it. Now we put it back to work. So they're all on that. And it will mysteriously turn into a ribbon, which is what we need to go into the plug. Okay. So now I'll get a plug. Cable costs probably about 90 cents currently. For about 1,000 people, just is how I usually get it. Currently, I think it's running $20. Price of oil has a big impact on it. And the plugs run about 20 to 25 cents each. Now, if you get the female plugs, which is plug into, they're easier to cable. They've got marked where every wire goes. You just take the wires all apart like you get home. So lay them down in the spot they belong in. You all you have to do for a few. So, those cost about $1 a piece. Few of these, you do those. So I'm going to take the plug now. If you look at the back of the plug, there's how I'm going to go with this. It narrows right here. Okay? That's one. That's as far as the sheet will fit into it. We want to get the wires, the sheet into the edge of it, please. But you've only got my fingernail down space of amount of weight button. If y'all expose a little bit today, that's okay. But you really, when you're doing them in production, you don't want wires shut. Okay? You don't want a lot of wire shuts. If you got just a tiny bit, that would usually work for you. But the place I worked before a while back that called me, they told me they had a problem with their stuff, wouldn't work correctly, that their programmer said it wasn't programmed, there was something with the network, and that he looked at it several times, and they had several networking people in them to look at it, and the networking people all told them it was a programming problem. And they said, we heard you know something about programming and networking. I said, yeah. So they said, can you come look at it? And I went in, I said, all right, let me see what y'all got here after they tried the problems. I said, show me your switch. So they showed me it. It was in the old telephone wire closet, if you want to call it that. Just a little narrow wall space there. A little bit more because actually the switch right there. Switch was down in it, so it was probably a white wall or something. But it wasn't anything you get into, okay? And with all that ton of wiring spots for a telephone, sitting up and down the wall. And I looked down and went to pick up, and I was thinking from what they'd said, probably going to be color. I looked down and went to get to the first plug, and it had this much wire showing on each of the plugs. Whoever had done it had stripped this wire back, put a piece across here, back to like here. But put wires all into the plug, correct colors and correct positions. And then had done a little tie wrap on it down here, one of the plastic ones. Stuck on there, one of those little strapping pieces. Stuck on there, put this back together, but there was all kinds of wire all along there, you can see. And I pulled it out and went, anybody have any idea of what might be a problem? And the office manager was the wife of the owner of the plant. Popped up, and it turned out she didn't know much about computers other than being able to use and do the accounting and some other stuff on there. She learned more from me as she went along. She went, you shouldn't see all those wires. I said, exactly. So I said, let me fix one plug today, because I told them I didn't have time to see them that day. And I said, I'll come back tomorrow and fix the rest of them. I fixed the one to the server, back the next day. And I walked in and they said, you fixed it yesterday. I said, no, I started on the fix, but I didn't finish it. They said, well, it's running really well today. Everything's working good. I said, well, we can get a little bit better. So I replaced the rest, and then I went and looked into put their female plugs for the wall, covers off on that, see what was there, and everything was okay on that. It turned out the electrician had done it, and he didn't know about the exposing of wires, so on electrical wires you don't worry about that. And he knew he had to get the colors right, so he got that right, but he didn't know about the rest of them. He told me that a few months later that he was the one that did it. Nobody told me. They didn't really ask who did this job, other than I knew it had been done in the last year and a half. They moved in. And one day, when I was there working on stuff on the computer, he came up to me and said, just wanted to let you know I'm the one that did that. He said, I didn't know. I said, okay, you're an electrician. I said, you actually did pretty good. You just didn't know on that. Because the other choice I could have done instead of replacing the plugs had just gone and got a piece of aluminum foil wrapped around the ends of those, things would have gone with fine for them too, because they would have protection out there from interference. You see, if he'd known that, if he'd just known it would pick up interference, he probably would have known to go wrap and would wrap and they wouldn't have had a problem. It wouldn't have been the prettiest sight, but it would have worked. So take this, you know, under your finger, under your thumb where it comes out. So you know about where it comes back in. Okay? Lay it there and estimate that about halfway up there. Okay? Look on the cable wires, and one of them usually you'll be able to see there's color starts or ends, and so that's where you want to cut it. And so I want to cut this one off where the orange, white orange ends. So I'll take the scissors. And make sure y'all do get the sheets in the trash can. We end up with these little wires on the floor. Take your vacuum cleaner to that. Pick those up. But the sheets, somebody would have to individually peel them up. The little wires can get a truck. I've never had a problem with clean crews about that. So, like then I think when all of them ended on the floor or something. So now, take the plug, 5 out of the 6 ends, and I'll tell you which one's not. You're going to put this on the flat side up. So there's a tab side, there's a flat side. You follow that? If you run your fingers across those little metal pieces here right now, you'll see they're all raised up. So you can feel it. So then I'll start running this in, push it in as hard as you can, and then let go and keep pushing. Because it narrows at that point, so they really can't jump much further anymore as long as you push on in quickly. As you let go. That one I cut just right. It's actually right on where you want it. This is between the 2 spots, about halfway. But that one, somebody will tell you, I just look perfect. If you look at the end of the piece, you'll see my wires all go up to the very end. So when you cut it, make sure you do a straight cut across, don't do angle. So you angle, then part of the wires reach all the way to the end, and part of them will reach to the end. So they follow that one. So now, at this point, that plug will come right back off if I go and pull on it. So now I'm going to take my crown plug, whichever one I grab, and I'm going to slide it in there. Now, my suggestion to you is keep on pushing it in there even after you got pushed in. Because if you pull back, the wire's going to come out, and the plug's going to stay in there, and then you got to get all those wires straightened back out and everything else. So I do like that, and I'm so pushing it in. So if you follow on that, it only goes in one way. Because if you look on this back side, it doesn't have a big cap slot for it. And then squeeze on this and squeeze tight. Because you want to push this little piece of metal all the way up in. And then once you've done that, take the plug, pull. See if it won't come off. So Mark was doing some serious pulling, right? You saw both our arms pull back and forth like this. We're going to slice a little bit, go and make a damage. So that one's on there. If you discover at that point you made a mistake, piece and cut it on. Start all over. Okay? Mistakes will occur, like I told you. And students that ended up this short by the time they can't make mistakes on it. You're going to make 3 different cages. Okay? When y'all make the first one, I'm going to do it. Then I'll show you how to use test them. And then we'll test them and see if they're correct. These are the telephone cable or the Ethernet cables. So they've got smaller plugs for the RJ11 and the larger plugs for the RJ45. This is detachable so that they could take this piece down the hall down there, and I put wire and wall right there, just that wire from here and there, or the yell down the hall, or use our cell phones to call each other and say what we're seeing on each end of us as it reads out, and whether it's matching correctly. We're just going to use it as these. You can buy cable testers usually for $35 to $100. These at Micro Center or Marietta are $5 a piece. So we found that some of them are in English. Which both of these are, and some of them they have sent us are in Chinese. And that doesn't make any difference. One thing we're concerned about is the switch here has 3 positions. It's got a fast and a slow on position. So it says off on S. On is when it runs the lights fast, and S for slow. And then all we're worried about is the numbers and the lights. All these other words on there doesn't make any difference. And China, and that. So the numbers, even when they print this thing all in Chinese, they still have the numbers right there for us, like we know, and the lights all look the same. So it doesn't make any difference that the rest of the stuff on the ones in Chinese aren't Chinese. We can live. Okay, now straight through cable. Which is what you're going to use most of the time. That's what comes with devices. Okay. It's going to have B on both ends. Okay. Rollover cable, which y'all have already used on your first lab. Remember you had that light blue wire connector that you did from the PC to the switch? And that's the only way you could get into the switch, configure the switch. Now y'all get to click on the switch and configure it directly. Or on that one, they made you do it that way, and I told you that's the way it works in the real world. In the real world, you can't just walk up to a switch. You gotta wait to get into it. Well, the console port's the way to get into it. And you use a console cable in there on the Cisco equipment, which is just a rollover cable. So I'm going to call it a rollover here. That's the only use for it. As far as I know, nobody else uses it. Okay. Well, this guy is B on both the ends also, like the straight through, except on one end, we're going to do tab side up. So we're going to reverse the wires. Or you can do it, this is working, left to right. If you want to sit there and figure these out and wire the other end backwards, you can, but to me it's a whole lot easier just to plug on upside down and you just reverse it. Okay? And you don't have to try to know what these things are backwards. The third one is the crossover cable, which we mentioned last week, I think it was. It's not used as much now, that if it's a higher end switch or router, it's got the AMDIX ports on it now, which are intelligent and will conceive which wires is stuff coming in on, and it sets it, that's its receive, and the other 2 wires that no one's used is send. Your situation is, if you've got 2 devices that are on the same layer of the OSI model, you have to use a crossover cable between. If they are both on an odd numbered level or both on an even numbered level, you also have to use a crossover cable. If they're on different adjacent levels, like on 1 and 2, a PC on 1, switch on 2, straight through cable works. Okay? But if they're like from 1 to 3, PC to a router, you got to use a crossover. PC to PC, you got to use a crossover. I'll follow on that. So crossover one, you're going to have B on one end and A on the other end. So I haven't given you A yet.
So let me give you A. The only difference between A and B is A is that you switch the orange and the green pairs, which are the two pairs that you do the send and receive on. Okay, so you're switching those going across because those two devices would use the same send wires and the same receive. Whereas when you do different levels, they're switched on. But that's the way it works. So this one will be white, green, white, orange, blue, white, blue, orange, white, brown, and brown. So notice that goes there, that goes there, that goes to there, and that goes to there. So now that means when we watch the meter, 1 and 3 are going to light together. 2 and 6 are going to light together. 3 and 1, 4 and 4, 5 and 5, 6 and 2, 7 and 7, 8 and 8. Now straight through, because they're both the same, they'll be 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, 1 down, 8 and 8. Roll over these meters for some reason. Do not. And one of these might work. We've gotten a couple of, 1 or 2 of them that actually work. But on the rollover, normally they do nothing. So if you've done the rollover cable correctly, no lights come on. If you got it wrong, you'll get lights. But somehow they have programmed into those. For some reason, I have no idea why, that rollover don't work. Okay? And so we just have to visual check it. But the fact no lights come on indicates to us probably you got it right. Okay? So you're going to have cable the tester to do it. All right, any questions for me on all of that? All right, so now what y'all are going to do is sit here and make them. You're going to make 3 cables. Okay? If we don't get them done today, we don't have an hour, 45 minutes to still talk about this stuff. Y'all come around a few minutes over. You might get that done, but probably not. This morning's class, one person got it done and she had done it previously. She had taken a basketball from New York and done it in there. And after she started on, she realized what she was doing. She still had it. There a little bit. But it's the way I show you to do it, it's a little bit together, but the end result's the same time. Okay? So you want to make 3 cables. If you don't get all 3 done today, we'll finish them next Tuesday, along with over the next module. Okay? So if you don't get them done, take them with you and bring them back. Okay? And then the other one is I will check them off once you get all 3 done. And then you got to take them home. I've still got the original 3 I made for this assignment 20 years ago, actually 19 years ago. And for when I did the final for that class, because we did all that on Wednesday, we learned how to make the cables, and on Friday we did the finals. But also we had 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I've still got all 6 of those cables. I use the straight through and the crossover occasionally when I need minor when I'm suddenly needing on a piece of cable for a short focus right there. When you go to make the straight through one, if you do have a need for a little bit longer one, a home or something that you've been going, I need one that's 10 foot long or something, go ahead and make it. I haven't had a problem with that. Okay, any questions on that? Preferably not make it the maximum weight at 100 meters. You might not have that much cable in the box in the first place, so 300 feet of it. But if you need like 20 feet or 30 feet or something with wire, and sometimes people get study up to the actual box. I don't normally have that cable running across there, but like when I'm working on somebody's computer, if I'm fixing the house or whatever I'm working on, I'll run it back there, and that way I can be right beside me working on other stuff. And because sometimes you can't get into the wireless on, get into the wire. And so have it. So just cut yourself. You might want to start with one wire at a time. And just go after you go. I say, don't cut too close to the box. It will fall back in. Yes, I can get it back out afterwards, but I got to dig down in the box to find it again. Okay. So, my request is don't cut it too close. Although somebody does do that occasionally. So I do have to go in and straighten it out sometimes, but I'd rather not if I don't have to. Okay. And let me set it in the bag. And then just ask me questions as you're working along on it. I'm going to jump in here and work on something else. And here, well, wait a second to stop this recording because it's working nicely, picking up Mark real good. I also got Tamika on it. Just to show, it should bend and it should break for you. You should see it breaking on it. Did it break?
Yeah.
And that's all it takes at that point. Okay. So we added a little piece of